I have a vehicle and the battery kept running down, and I could take the battery cable off and the vehicle kept running, so the alternator was working, but the battery would run down. So I did some diagnostics and I seen that it was actually pulling a little power out of the positive. I could see it spark, which, come to find out, isn't really all that uncommon. So the question is, how do you check to see if there's something wrong with the battery? Well, I left it hooked up for an hour and it went from 12 volts to 10 volts and unhooked the cable after that, and then it stayed about 10.4. And you'd think, aha, it is pulling too much fire out of here, because after I unhooked the cable, it stayed at 10.44 volts. But here's the problem. These cells, see, each one of these is a cell. This would be 2 volts, 2 volts, 2 volts, 2 volts, 2 volts, 2 volts. They're in series, makes 12 volts. So each one of these cells should measure about 12 volts. If we drop a negative on my multimeter, the negative down in there, and we turn this to voltage, and you touch the positive with this, you see it's about 1.69 volts. Okay, now we'll go to the next cell. Just drop it down in there. 3.77 volts. See that? It did go up. Now watch this. We'll go to the next cell. Just drop it down in there. Touch the post. 4.18. See, it didn't move as much there. So if we measure from this cell to this cell, see, we get 2.45 volts. It says negative. All you have to do is swap these around to get it to going in the right direction, basically. This is the positive end, so. All right, now. 2 point. Anyway, it's about 2 volts. Now let's move here. From this cell to this cell. You see that? Only a half a volt. Well, there's 1 volt. It'd come up a little bit there. Now if we go on from this cell to this cell, you see we got our 2 volts back again. So from here to here, we're getting 2 volts. That means this cell's putting out 2 volts. But if we go back to here, and from here, in other words, from this cell to that cell, you understand? From this cell to that cell, we don't even have a half a volt. This cell is dead. It's shorted out. And it's draining the battery till it got down to 10 volts, because now this no longer has 2 volts in it. Got down to 10 volts and it stopped, because you can only drain so much out of that cell and then it's empty. And so the problem with my van, my vehicle here, running out of battery juice is right here in the battery. It's not in the alternator, it's not parasitic voltage, it's a shorted cell in the battery. And that's how you can test it, with a multimeter, and test from cell to cell. If we go back to this cell, see that? We got our 2 volts back. Okay, we'll move down to here. Each one of these cells are about 2 volts. See, we got 2 volts. See that? We'll move it 1 more cell. We got our 2 volts. And if we go from this cell to that cell, that's the problem. And that's how you can check it. And these multimeters you can buy at Harbor Freight, I don't know, $10. Sometimes they give them away. And they're well worth having if you know how to use them. And this is one way you can use it to diagnose a bad battery. Hope that helps. See ya.